know, the ups and downs of life, the roller coaster of life, as I've talked about it before, is life. You know, it is the polarity of life. And for me, you know, I didn't always know that. You know, it was for me, I grew up like a lot of people grew up, and my programming, the paradigm that lives down there said, minimize the downs and maximize the ups. Try to control your environment, so you try to produce as much of the ups, the positives, the good feelings, and try to avoid the other. And I noticed that just absolutely did not work. In fact, the more I tried to avoid it, the more it came up, the more I fed that fire and stuff. You know, I'll share with you a story that literally happened last week, where this came really hit home. And it really was due to the last 30 years of living in a world where my goal and my passion and my teaching was, you don't minimize anything, you maximize and embrace all of it, because it's all of life. And that includes what you call the downs, the ups and downs, the unpredictability of life unfolding. That is the curriculum. That is the only curriculum. It doesn't end with a degree. It doesn't end with a bank account that's high. It goes on and on and on. So the story that I'd like to share with you, that hopefully you get it, is just last week I was told, I was living in California, and I was going to fly up to Washington where my home is, and I was told that I had a brand new baby granddaughter. I was a granddad for the first time. Her name is Ivy, so I was excited to meet her. I was also told by my sister, who's in Washington, that my mother was dying and we needed to put her immediately into hospice. So there I was. The polarity was really strong that day. And I'll tell you what happened for me that day, and hopefully you'll carry this with you for the rest of your day. And I flew in, and immediately I went to the hospital, because there was limited time. We had no idea when my mother was going to pass. And she's still here as we speak right now. And she's 92 years old. And I found myself all of a sudden at her bedside holding her hand, and she was already moving into that state of consciousness where she's kind of going back and forth. She finally opened her eyes and was able to look at me. And it's interesting because the relationship I've had with my mom has always been kind of tumultuous. And the soul was always there to love her. However, it was a up and down kind of relationship. But in that moment where she opened her eyes, and we hadn't seen each other for about a month, we looked at each other in silence. And there was such a profound connection in that 2 to 3 minutes that literally erased everything that preceded it, that we will call the downs. And because the greatest eraser is love, it is the greatest neutralizer of both the ups and downs, because it's not in the dichotomy. The love and the vibration of love, all of this happens within that. And so in that moment, it's not like I said, I need to go to love. I just looked into the soul of another human being who played the role of my mother. And it was looking through the soul of another human being who played the role of son. But we got to look at each other from another role that I wanted for the whole part of my life to do, and I got it for those 2 or 3 minutes. And as we looked at that, in that timeless space-time, love was so evident. There were so many words that could never been said in that moment. I felt blessed, I felt grateful as I said goodbye to my mom. Now, her body is still here, but we are complete. And then within hours, I went to the house and I got a chance to meet little Ivy, my 5-day-old little granddaughter, and I got to hold her in my arms. And she was asleep at the time. Somewhere within the 5 minutes of holding her, she opened up her beautiful little eyes and she looked at her granddad. And I want to tell you something. I saw the same eyes, I saw the same look through that little 5-day-old baby as I did through the 92-year-old mother that I looked at hours before. What was common between both of those? Well, I said it earlier. It was the vibration and the frequency of love and gratitude, and the blessing that I felt in the circle of life from one leaving and one arriving to this planet was so evident that that was the guiding post that's going to take this planet from where we are and turn it into a star.